Amazons.
It's such a privilege to be here. It's such a privilege to stand before women of God and to speak. I don't believe in coincidences because I wasn't supposed to do this, but I know that when God wants to reach somebody, he rearranges things, he scatters things to make what he wants to come to pass. And so I don't believe in coincidences. I minister in spoken word, and anyone that's listened to me, I'm a storyteller. I like to call myself God's storyteller. So I'm going to be telling you a little story. If you would just walk with me for a few minutes while I tell you this story. The thing is that I am a virgin, and I have been made to believe that this is my proud origin, my identity, virginity, the aim and the pride of my entire femininity. I mean, without it, all that's left of a single girl is simply not right. So I hang it high like a trophy, let the world see it and judge me with purity and chastity, while I stay soaked in the truth, the reality that virginity doesn't always mean purity. It didn't for me, and in a moment you see, I was that girl. I was that innocent, happy-go-lucky girl. I was. Enter an uncle. Let's make that several uncles and a cousin told to sit on his lap with repositionings and reconstructings of the positions of my sitting until I felt something hard. But his rod and his staff did not comfort me. Instead, I was taken out of my comfort zone, zoning out to the untimely reality of the feelings that being touched in certain areas evoked. Private parts were no longer private, but parts of our own private, twisted communications, holding communion with his blood according to the gospel of each pump. And then the uncle stopped coming over. But by this time, I was already getting older, a classic case of the abused becoming the abuser. Puberty had set in, limiting the liberty of purity, and so boys became my favorite toys at school. I really wanted to be saved and safe, but I had to stay cool. Too many drummings of virginity by my Sunday school teacher, so even though I did want to please her, I was simply just scared of going all the way with ease. Let's call this the birth of a professional sexual tease, but I'm getting ahead of me. Fast forward to SS3. I got my first kiss. He was a pretty boy with pink lips. I just could not get enough of this. High school movies had made up the most of my personal doctrine. Virgin tease, never beyond the bra in. This feeling too good to be a waste of sin. Lip count going way up. Was a good girl, but she changed up until makeout lost all significance, became a very basic sport. And then one level didn't quite cut it. So as I moved from 100 to 200, one thing led to another, but I was always careful to remain safe down under. Until finally, you know what, I'm gonna pretend like I'm in a church and I'm a preacher. I'll ask you to tap your neighbor, say finally. Finally, realization crept in. The real decision of purity came knocking. I stopped the blame game of laying it all on the uncles as though they were my atonement lamp. I picked up my baggage, I dusted my body, I said goodbye. I dropped out of the University of Technical Virginity and enrolled in the Institution of Purity with a major in chastity, waiting for that day to become the pure unveiled bride. Oh, what new meaning in these words now abide, but there's a part of me I could not erase. A part of my past I didn't ace, I didn't get the perfect score. I had experimented at the tip of their iceberg and now opened up a door to my sexuality and sensuality, and so I fear that I won't be able to deliver up to my anticipation. I fear that I won't be enough to bring him maximum satisfaction. I fear that beyond the physical there will be no real connection, but mostly I fear that when the music fades and all is stripped away, I'll compare him to the uncles, the cousins, the nameless, countless others. Activate my selective amnesia, become Rapunzel, shut down, locked up in a tall, lonely tower. I fear that I'll be awoken with memories of them. When touched in my own personal garden of Eden, I fear so many things. I fear, but God, he came and he said some words to me, and he asked me to tell you. He said these words to me and he asked me to tell you. He said, shh, be still and know that I am God. Have you not read what I said in my word about perfect love? For perfect love casts out fear. There is no fear in love. But what I give to you is power and a sound mind. He said, come, my daughter. Let me love on you in vernacular. You see, this love between you and I is so spectacular. So come, let me love you in Igbo in particular. I love this, so I'm going to say it again just because I love it. He said, come, my daughter. Let me love on you in vernacular. This love between you and I is so spectacular. So let me love you in Igbo in particular. The wise men from the east go, Afurum Ginaya. And with this, the lover tells the beloved that I see you with my eyes. It means that I look past your past, I behold your future. I've looked past your imperfections, your potentials. Instead, I'll nurture. I've looked past who you used to be and what you used to do. And as I looked past all of these things, I see you. The you that I believed was to die for. And so, not just in words, but in deeds, indeed, for you I died. And while you are out there searching for human validation, I've been here all along loving you, not just in words, but in action. You ask me, do I love you? I've told you and then I showed you. While others proposed with a ring on a knee, I wooed and proposed on the cross, will you marry me? And so, my daughter, my bride, you are no longer slave to sin. You are no longer slave to fear. You are no longer slave to death. You are no longer slave to guilt. You are a child of God. And if you are a child, then a heir. Joint heir with Christ. Your daddy owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. So what other option do you have but to shine because you are found in him? But most importantly, I want you to know that you are forgiven and you are loved beyond your past, beyond your guilt, beyond your limitations, for there is no limitation found in him. While you're struggling to be an imitation, he wants you to be all the authenticity that he's created you to be. He loves you beyond your guilt. And so he who stepped out of time to create time, stepped back into time to manifest that time, he who's been here before the beginning of age wants you to know that he loves you way beyond all your baggage.
Blooming Amazons.